For you, what are the important issues going into this election?
The disposition toward human rights by President Trump is a real issue. He is the overwhelming issue in the campaign, his behavior. But our ability to do something about it, that's the hope. The hope lies that we have the ability to do something about it.
In terms of this year especially, we've really once again seen the issue of police brutality. How will that as an issue play out, do you feel, in this election?
Well, this is a global issue, not just a local issue. I'm convinced that. The cameras have been a big factor in the new disposition. We would not have known. We saw George Floyd die on camera in almost in real time. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. It touched something deep in humanity. That's why you had so many whites protesting. It was humiliating for blacks, embarrassing for whites, and bad for America altogether.
One element that has occurred over the last few years has obviously been the growth of Black Lives Matter as a movement. How do you assess what they have achieved over the last few years or so?
Black Lives Matter is not for blacks only. It's a sign of history. One see the number of whites involved in saying no to police brutality, yes to voting count, yes to health care. Black Lives Matter has raised the conscience for everybody. It's the center of a moral-based coalition. I'm so proud of this generation, and I march with them every chance I get.
If Biden-Harris were to win, there has been a concern over whether there will be a peaceful transition of power. Is that a concern for you?
It is. He'll be totally unaccountable for 3 months. Totally unaccountable. That's too long to him to have that kind of power. And if he lost, he'll be bitter and burned. He could thrust us into a war. I'm convinced that Trump wants on January 20th, I think he really wants some drama in January, where he knows he can't win it, but he'll turn his 90 million followers into a serious right-wing movement in this country.
One key element from this election, though, is Kamala Harris and her running as vice president. How do you assess her and what she could potentially bring to America?
She's qualified. She brings a lot to the table, and she's an able debater. She can argue her case. I said in a tweet the other night that Dr. King and Hamer and Mandela and the models of our time would be proud that she represents our interests now at a high place.
Obviously, there's a lot of concern, anxiety around right now. What is your vision for the future? Where do you feel America?
Forward by hope, not backwards by fear. By inclusion, not exclusion. We all matter. We're all God's children. Human rights has been the foundation for local, national, and international policy. I think that becomes our challenge today, to see the value of a solid foundation based on ethics and character and integrity and transparency.